Hey, Shalom, Call Allah, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachakodash, the ones of apostles, great millstone, and Shalom, two brothers in the highways and byways, doing the work sincerely and faithfully, continually fighting that good fight of faith. Lord willing, we have found that number to be delivered. All right, I'm going to start off with the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and 52. It says, Then said he unto them, Therefore, every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasure things new and old. All right, so we're gonna be on the move on this one. All right, so I want to speak about that treasure. All right, and how we utilize that treasure and what the Lord has instructed us to do. When the scriptures talk about bringing things out of his treasure, both new and old, that treasure is the scriptures, man. And we use these scriptures as a lifeline unto us, whether they be from the so-called Old Testament and the New Testament, right? And being a teacher is another essential thing when it comes to using this treasure, because as teachers, we have to then go out, teach this word, and give the word to the masses and to those who are hearing us, right? And once we teach them that word, we have to give them everything. We also got to be found blameless, man. We got to be found blameless. We can't be teachers and only teach them certain things, right? For example, you got a lot of men who are going deep into their feelings about the law of Moses, right? And how that since Yahushua came, we no longer under the law of Moses. Well, the scripture says this, right? In the book of 1 John, I believe it is. It says that the Lord's commandment are not grievous. You got to look at this from a total different perspective other than your feelings, man. All right, everything. The book is called the good book, right? And being called the good book, we utilize that book to maintain. We utilize that book for guidance, for instruction, for understanding. These are all things that are beneficial to you as a man of the Lord, or as a man coming into the truth and finding out the truth, right? It's a very simple thought process once you really think about it. I did a show about the fringes, about how we put the fringes on our garments when we're out there teaching the highways and byways, and people are getting their panties all in a bunch. First of all, the fringes can't save you. The fringes cannot save you, all right? But being teachers and being prophets, we also let you know, listen, this is what's written in the book about fringes, all right? People say, oh, we're not under the law of Moses anymore. Well, again, I'll give you another example, right? In the law of Moses, it's written that thou shalt not steal, right? Now, is one justified in saying this is what Moses said, but because Yahushua came, we can now steal? Absolutely not, man. It keeps you balanced. It keeps you grounded. For example, right? I work on cars, and when I go to the junkyard, maybe I'm getting a cylinder head for an engine, and I may remember, oh shit, I need a blinker bulb. Now, a blinker bulb is something small, something really minute, right? And when you go up to pay for your parts or whatever, and if you throw that blinker bulb in your pocket, are you technically stealing? Yes, because it truly don't belong to you. But what keeps you from putting that bulb in your pocket? Thinking back on those commandments. Thou shalt not steal. I'm not gonna steal this. I'm gonna pay for it. Then when you get up there, when I got up there, and I've earned a good report with these people because of my character. And that character that is within me, from the teachings from the head apostles and bishops and elders on down, into the Lord supping with me and giving me the spiritual understanding. Now my character with these people, they give me things on the house. Why? Because when I went up there with that little bulb, he said most people just take these and put them in their pocket. I got it they gave it to me. They didn't charge me for it. But again, it's that integrity. But that integrity comes from the old things that are in our treasures that we utilize to help people understand, who we are as men of the Lord. What our forefathers have done. The things that are keeping us, keeping us sharp, if you will. All right? So it's essential, man, that when you teach these things, you teach everything. You let people know everything. And whether or not they want to now, utilize these teachings, that's on them, between them and the Lord. But you being that teacher, you got to be found blameless, man. So when someone comes up to us and we're out there on the highways and byways teaching, we're going to tell them about the laws. We're going to tell them about the laws. Now, can we keep the laws to 100%? No. All right? But letting people know that you got to the best of your ability, we understand we're in captivity. We understand it's virtually impossible to deal, truly deal on a level of just being truly connected. It's hard, man. It's hard. All right? But having these treasures, having to go to these treasures and resort back to your treasures, bringing things new and old, the Bible is written for us, man. And that's why we, when you meditate on these things were written for our learning. Right? They were written for our learning. What does that mean? Everything that's contained inside these scriptures, man, is for our learning. Whether it be from the law of Moses, or whether it be the teachings of Yahweh Shai. All these things were written for our learning. But you know what too, though? Thinking about, the totality of what we have been given through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the totality of it all is good, man. It's good for you. It's good to know what's contained in the law of Moses. It's good to know what the teachings of Yahweh Shai was. It's good to know that, if you teach other men these things, they now have the ability to say, okay, I was informed by these brothers. These brothers told me, about this and about that. And as the scripture says, we've wiped their blood off of our hands. But Lord willing, they take heed to it and incorporate it into their life, man. When you're out there teaching or you're dealing with somebody, right? One of the things we always say is, the scripture says, this is what the scripture says. The scripture says this, right? And 90% of the times, I don't want to say 90%, but a good percentage of the time, you're speaking of the things that are contained in the law. You're speaking of the things that are contained in the law of Moses, or the commandments, or the things in the Old Testament. All right, but where does that draw from? That draws from the totality of the book, man. The book itself is life. Whether it be of the law of Moses or whether it be of something of the so-called New Testament, it's the book of life, man. It's going to help you navigate. Just thinking back on the things that the Lord told Moses. Therefore, we read these things and understand these things and apply these things, man. You can't just all of a sudden say, I'm a prophet of the Lord, I'm a teacher, but I'm not going to teach you about anything that was written aforetime. All right? These are the treasures. This is our treasure. We go into our treasure to pull out these little nuggets that, you may be dealing with somebody and they may ask you for a question. And again, you're going to go back to the scriptures. The scripture says this, whatever the conversation may be going. All right? But it's essential that you understand these things. And you young brothers who are coming in now, don't get persuaded by men who are telling you, we don't have to abide by the law of Moses, man. Again, can we keep the laws perfectly in this kingdom? No, we can't. All right? But have we been taught about the law of Moses? Absolutely. All right? Do we meditate and think about these things as we go through our daily life? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So all that being said, man, it's a beautiful thing to know that we are the householders, all right, And we have these treasures that we can draw from, that we can now, open up the understanding to brothers in a total package, and not just a half a package, not just some of the package, in a total package, man. Which is essential, which is very essential, man. All right. People don't believe that, you have to, pay attention to these things. You have to, man. As a man of the Lord, and again, as a teacher, you are to teach everything. And then it's on the person you're teaching, it's on them. If they want to take heed to it, and if they want to try to abide by it and follow it, and they want to try to, expound on it, or try to, get better understanding on it. All right? But this Bible is our treasure, man. This Bible is our treasure. The things that were written in the time of Moses and the prophets, the things that were written in the time of the apostles and the disciples, all these things matter. All these things have weight, man. It's not something you just say, all right, you know what? We're not gonna, focus on that anymore. That's done away with. When essentially, you always revert back to those old writings, man. Those old writings are key. They're key. All right. How do we know that we abstain from how do we know to abstain from different abominations? How do we know how to do that? By the law of Moses. And again, I'm gonna say it again, because you got a lot of hard-headers out there who just don't understand. We hold it to the best of our ability, but we don't eat pork no more, because it was explained to us that pork was an abomination, right? So you can't just disregard that. And many other scriptures like that keep you grounded, right? So with that, unfortunately, my phone memory is running out. So Lord willing, I'm gonna continue this, later on. Lord willing, later on tonight, and I'm gonna see y'all brothers on another one. I say shalom.